All right, guys, in today's video, what I'm going to be taking you through is if you want to get detailed factory service information for vehicles made by Hyundai, where do you find this information, right? You can get pictures of the parts that you're trying to remove, the torque values of fasteners that you need to remove or replace, the different parts in the explosion like gaskets, even down to waveforms on the oscilloscope for doing electrical checks. Where do you find this type of information? So that's what I'm going to be showing you in today's video. So let's go ahead and go through it. All right, so to locate Hyundai service information, you're going to search for Hyundai service information. And the very first hit should be this Hyundai service website. If it's not, you want to scroll down and locate it. The actual URL is www.hyundaitechinfo.com. And when you go into this website, wait for it to load up here. What I'm going to show you is you have to have an account. It's free to set up an account, but you can't do anything with the account unless you pay for a subscription. This is not free. This factory information is never free. What I'll show you is what you have available for the choices for this. So if I come down here and we look at subscription information, we pull this up. What they're telling you is you can get access to the service information. And all I'm going to be focusing on in this video is the service information. I'm not going to talk about module programming or anything like that, just the service information. So for 1 week of access, $40, a month for $60, a year for $600. Those are the plans that they offer. So for most folks that are trying to do a DIY type job, it's going to be in the $40 range. And for those folks that are running a shop, it's probably going to be in the $600 range. Now, if we go back to where we were, what we're going to have to do is we're going to have to log in and get access to what we paid for. Or if you're creating an account, if you just create an account, right? So I'm just saying I'm going to create a test account 2025. I'm just going to make up a password here. And if I say I want to sign in or sign up, let's just say I want to sign up. It's going to have me fill in all this information. And then when I go to create this, I'm not going to go through this again, but I'm just showing you what will happen. Then it's going to ask you to pick which of those subscriptions you want to do, and you're going to have your credit card ready. You're going to have to make that pick. You have to pay, and then it'll drop you into the system. So I'm going to go ahead, log in with my ID, and I'll show you what you get after you're logged in. All right, once you log in, it's going to drop you into this page right here. And so what we're interested in is service information. If I click on service information, it's going to light up this menu of options underneath here. Now you can go into other things like tools and equipment. Sometimes the service information will reference special tools that you need to do the job. And you'll find those in this tools and equipment area. It's going to take you to a different website. There's training that Hyundai provides, technical training. This is mostly geared at technicians, but there's something you can look at there, and then tools. But we're just going to focus on the service information. So under here, we're going to be able to see a number of things of interest. So TSB, Technical Service Bulletins. If I come in here and I drill into a particular model family, let's just pick something here. Let's say Genesis 15 to 16. And it doesn't matter what you pick, and let's say it's a 16 model, so we can narrow the content down to what's applicable to us. It'll generate a list of all of the technical service bulletins. And so let's say I'm interested in a problem with the brake system. If I open up the brake system, it's going to give me the, if I can get this a little wider here, it's going to give me the 8 brake-specific technical service bulletins, right? So let's see, brake caliper fluid inspection. And it's going to come up here and show me, some information about inspecting the brake caliper. And, you can go on and see nice pictures, all kinds of good detail here. And you can print this out for your reference. So that's what is available to you in that $40 with respect to the technical service bulletins. If you look at campaign, what's going to be listed under campaign are going to be, think of this like not quite a recall, but something where they want you to go back to the dealer and get something done. Let's take a look at something here. Let's see, multi-fuse replacement. Let's see what that one is, just to give you a little bit of a flavor of what's in here. For some reason that one didn't display. I just picked this starter relay kit. And so recall 254, this supersedes some previous steps for a starter relay kit, and it's telling you, hey, from now on when you do it, follow the directions that are provided here rather than what was provided before. And again, Hyundai's typically pretty good about nice color pictures and nice detail about these steps. The main thing I think most people will be in here for, though, is how do I do certain repairs? And that's going to be under replace and component. So component is going to give you the location of information, right? So if I want to narrow down for the example we're sticking with, I've got to tell it which of the two engines that we're dealing with. Ideally, whenever the choice is presented, you want to plug a VIN in here and click search, VIN number, fill it in and search, and it'll populate only what's specific to that VIN, so you can allow the noise down. But what we can do with this component section is we can get information about a given component. So let's say, let me pick something here. Let's say we wanted to take a look at the automatic transaxle and find out information on those components. So now I'll be able to get to see pictures identifying where the major subsystems are, torque values if they're applicable to fasteners that are involved here. And then if I go down here to repair procedures, I'll get live shots of what I would need to do a repair with this particular component. Everything's called out for you. Everything's identified. Again, torque values are provided in every level of detail that goes to the actual dealership. This is the exact information that the dealership technicians are going to be using, just in a different kind of interface than what we're looking at here. When we look at the replace category, very similar. Let this populate. Let's make our engine selection again, just sticking with the same Genesis example. You can get everything in here, right? Like something even as simple as the air cleaner. How do I remove the air cleaner, right? And it'll go through all the directions, location of the front strut bar that has to be removed, all the different hoses, all highlighted, the connections that you have to worry about removing, anything that is applicable to reinstalling it. They'll go over all of that. If there were any torque values, they would go over that too. Let's see if there's something a little bit more involved. How about this barometric pressure sensor? So I can see removal of this sensor. Again, plenty of detail, reinstallation. If it's something different, it'll show that here. And by the way, this kind of delay when you click on things, I've found that to be pretty typical for this Hyundai website. So just get used to it. You're going to have some lag on different people using this. So no matter what you're trying to repair, you'll be able to come in here and get some information about that. Now, some of these will have an inspection category as well, where it might make a reference to some type of test or something that you can compare and contrast with. And for that, you're going to need to, maybe have special tools. It depends on what you're looking at. This another section I'll show you is OBD2. This is just going to be, for example, drive cycle checks, emission-related information. Accessory information would be dealer, and just like it says, dealer installed accessories, how they get installed, or maybe how that they're repaired, if that's applicable. Body repairs, I think, will be covered under body. I haven't used this one before, but just clicking on it really quick, I think that, body repair is going to be covered under here. So there's a whole separate manual for dealing with collision repairs. Let's see what else. DTCs. I think DTCs are going to be diagnostic trouble codes. Picking a specific engine to filter this down. Let's take a look here, see if we can go to something like engine. And then here we'll see all of the various DTCs for this particular 3.8 GDI engine that was available in these years. And so you can scroll down to the one you're particularly interested in. Let's say, I don't know, let's say we've got a 366, P0366, camshaft position sensor B circuit range performance, bank 1. We can come in here and see information about the location of the components that are involved in this DTC. We can get a general description of what the code does and what it's involved with. General information about the DTC, which is particularly helpful so that you know what triggers the DTC, and the short list of possible causes for the DTC. When there's measurements involved, in this case, the Hyundai is very good about including oscilloscope views. So if you're using a scope and you need to look at a waveform, they're showing you what the normal should be for this particular one. There's going to be some information that might not be as applicable. GDS is the proprietary OEM tool used by the dealers. This is their version of the scan tool. So sometimes you'll see information about this that you can't really do anything with. Wiring inspection. So here they're talking about things that they want you to check and take a look at. There's wiring diagrams that can be expanded, that you can then see a factory wiring diagram to verify if there's a circuit integrity problem that's causing this particular code. And then component inspection, again, reference waveform signals with the oscilloscope, pretty much a repeat of some of the information earlier. So there's everything you would need at this site to take the place of a printed shop manual. Hyundai doesn't produce printed shop manuals anymore. This is what they offer as the site that I'm showing you. Everything that would have been in there and more, actually far more detail than you'd find in a printed shop manual from the OEM will be provided here. If you see manuals online, it's usually because some companies, paid the $600 and they've gone through and they've converted everything that you see on here into some type of PDF so that they can make a manual and sell it to you. But if you're looking at the most latest information, you'd need to do what I'm showing you here. Obviously, this information can get corrected from time to time. It can get updated. It can get changed. It can be improved. And you're only going to get that if you have an actual subscription, particularly with the technical service bulletins or the campaigns. So I hope this kind of high-level overview helped you out of what's available and what's out there. This is what I personally do when I'm working on someone's vehicle. If it's a company I'm not directly familiar with through experience, I will subscribe for the shortest period of time, get access to this information so that I can figure out what I need to do to effect that repair. And then I can from there, access information online about the factory part numbers to do the OEM parts necessary for that repair. If you got questions or comments about what I've shown you, go ahead and leave them below and I'll try to help. If you did find this useful and it helped save you some money learning how to do the job yourself, I'd appreciate you paying it forward by hitting that like button. And as always, thanks for watching.